Stream is live.
Apparently, we're live. This is exciting, isn't it?
It is, man.
So,
I'll tell you something. This is my first StreamYard since Christmas, and when I logged in, it had my name as Sparky because we did a National Lampoons themed one. I should have left it in.
That's epic. I love it. Yeah, that would have worked actually. Oh man, I've been watching a thing earlier, the 50 worst movies ever made, and sorry, not 50 worst movies ever made. A load of underrated sci-fi movies. Sorry, and one of the ones that came up was Batteries Not Included, and I've not seen that in so long. What a sweet film!
That's one that a lot of people, we've got it in the shop, but a lot of people gravitate to that one. It seems to have like this resurgence every now and again, and people gravitate to it. I think it's
lovely.
It is, and I think it's a forgotten film until people see the artwork again, and it all comes flooding back.
That cover was epic. I'm getting ahead of myself. Anyway, hello. Welcome.
I am king of tangents, mate. I shall throw all your questions out the window, and we'll just go down some rabbit hole.
Me. Hello to the lovely people watching. Welcome to Planet Hex. I'm Andrew Horn. I usually talk about VHS tapes, so I'm going to do it again tonight. Tonight I have Rob Lane from, is it that way? Yes, it's that way. From the 80s Video Shop, the Straight to Video podcast, the Straight to Video music project, and a starring role in One Night Rental, the movie that takes place in a video rental store, shot at the 80s Video Shop. Dude, you are busy, man.
There's lots happening, mate. There's lots happening. You got to keep busy there. I've always liked staying busy. And my problem is, I think they always say you'd be really successful at something if you totally focus on it. But I just can't do that. I just like fingers in a million pies. I just call everything straight to video to try and focus it. But that's about as close as it gets.
We have a Harry Rivers. Hello, dude.
Harry's the main man. Never lets us down.
Good to have you, man. So I wanted to have a chat with you because I've not been to the shop for a while. Just life has got in the way in many myriad ways. What's been going on in the shop? I know you've moved some stuff around. You've got some new stuff going on. But before we get to all the stuff you're up to, let's tell the viewers that may not be aware of the 80s Video Shop, despite me going on about it forever, what it is and why.
Why is the big question. That's what most people ask when they come in. I mean, the name alone, like 80s Video Shop, an actual video shop. Well, yeah, it kind of is. The easiest pitch, which I tell to everybody, is a video shop museum, because nobody's crazy enough to have a video rental shop, an actual one where you can rent tapes. Maybe it'd work, I don't know, but at this current situation, ours is more of a museum. So
yeah,
me and my friend Chris, who I've known since, he'd probably be able to give you a more accurate time, but I think it's around like 96, 97. We got to know each other from playing in bands and stuff like that. We stayed friends ever since. A mutual love of Star Wars. Yeah, Chris is a drummer in the band Pump Car.
I never knew that.
Who provides songs to the soundtrack of One Night Rental. Yeah.
That's epic. You learn something new. He never mentioned that, and I've interviewed him.
He's a great drummer as well. And
hey, Gareth.
Chris was one of, when I first started doing, see, I'm tangenting already. We forgot about the video.
Fine, man.
I'm going down a different route. When I started Straight to Video, which was originally a music project, which was originally going to be like cover songs of like movie soundtracks, which the music project became. Chris, I reached out to him. It was going to be a live band, and Chris was the first person I reached out to play drums. So he's he's right at the beginning of Straight to Video and very much part of it today. So yeah, pulling things back in. We've stayed friends since all this time. We went away to Florida a few years ago, queuing up for Hagrid's motorcycle ride or whatever it is in the hot Florida sun, queuing for about 2 hours, and we just started brainstorming. Chris ran a sports shop in Alfreton, had some storage space upstairs, so I want to do something cool. So I said, how do you fancy recreating a video shop? My love of videos had, like many people, I'd got back into video collecting in the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
And I'd been to a few pop-up shops and loved it. I know the feeling I get when I go in them and seeing other people's reactions. So I thought, yeah, let's go for it. Let's recreate a video shop. So came back from Florida. About 2 months later, we opened the shop in July 2022, I think it was. So coming up to close to 2 years already. It's gone really, really fast.
Blimey, you certainly had enough stock to put in it with the. I was aware of the collection beforehand. Crazy. So it has got some. It has had some quite a lot of notice recently with the movie One Night Rental, directed by Chris, starring you and many other talented people. That came out really well. That
I'm
came
glad
out
you
so
enjoyed
well.
it.
It was
Yeah,
well funny.
I just let Chris roll with that one. He's like, I want to write a film. I want to release it in about 2 months. I'm like, man, you're never going to do it. You're never going to do it. He came close though. We actually wanted to release it in, I think it was October of last year, and it was all kind of finished by January, February. So it
Not
was pretty
far off
close.
then. That's
Yeah, not far off
impressive.
at all. But I said, mate, I'm just going to take a backseat to this. This is your baby. You just roll with it. I'll help wherever you need me to do it. Because I've said to him before, if I come in on anything, I'll just steamroll it.
Harry
I'll be
says, best
so.
shop ever.
Thank you, mate.
Absolutely.
So yeah, the film turned out wicked. It was a lot of fun to do. Everybody just pulled together, and yeah, just the response to it has been great.
You hadn't
And
acted before, had you?
I'd done a few little bits. I've been like a few bit.
Oh, you were
part
in mine,
things.
weren't you? Forgot about that.
I was in yours. Yeah, I did that.
Sorry.
And I've played a zombie in a couple of films. You remember Zombie Hood, the Nottingham film?
Yeah, yeah.
I was a zombie in that, and I was a zombie in Devil's Playground, starring Danny Dyer and Craig Fairbrass.
Excellent. Excellent. Why not? I've always
I've never
regretted
done
that
any like proper acting. I've always enjoyed like doing music videos and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And I always
acting.
used to enjoy
Pretend
acting
to be a
at
musician
school.
then.
Yeah, definitely pretending to be a bass player.
It's good to see the place so busy though, and getting all this notice and stuff. I appreciate the place just because it makes me incredibly happy. I've written about it in the VHS Take My Brain revised edition and the new one. There's a ton of stuff. You guys get about 1,000 mentions in the
Oh
new one.
man, I'm excited for it, dude. I'm excited.
It's come out well. It's come out well. It's nearly ready to spit out at people. But it's such a nice place, and the atmosphere there is really positive. It doesn't feel like, not like I've been in many recreation video shops, but it doesn't feel like some niche hobby places, where say like games places or some even like music shops, where you kind of feel there may be a bit of an elitist thing going on.
Absolutely.
There's absolutely none
I
of that
sometimes
there.
feel that in comic book shops. Nothing against comic book shops or anything. I feel out of my depth in them and feel like people like know a lot more than I do. And especially in our place, mate, it's one thing I probably told you before, but I love films. I love 80s nostalgia and all this kind of thing. I feel like I know a little bit. But once we've opened this shop, I realize I don't know shit, mate. Some of the people that come in just blow my mind with their knowledge of all this stuff. But for me,
I get that.
Whilst I don't want to say it's intimidating, but I just love the fact there's just so much knowledge to learn, and being introduced to all these films and discovering so much stuch. It's a great learning experience for me as well. And as long as other people
have got all these memories of it. Because like,
oh man,
I saw someone mention I saw a meme says like 80s and 90s kids will never know. People born after the 80s and 90s will never know the joy of your family having some random film that you've seen about 1,000 times and no one else has. And these are still from Suburban Commando.
It's totally accurate though. We've all got these films which we thought were massive because we saw the poster in the video shop, and it instantly, everyone knows about this film. I mean, for me, it's films like, it's films like Monster Squad and The Gate, and to collectors like ourselves, right? Really, really common films. But you ask Joe Public, and they ain't got a clue what you're talking about.
No, The Gate with all the little stop motion dudes, and the guy opening a gateway to hell by playing a record backwards. What?
Come on, Stephen Dorff's first film.
Absolutely. It was all downhill since that. Harry says it always feels very genuine and less elite. It's always friendly to have the same views, etc. It's such a cool place. Harry says Howard the Duck as well, we will not mention Howard the Duck because it gives me nightmares. It gives me deeply unpleasant nightmares. So the shop has now expanded into more digital waters with Patreon, and I'm a member of the Patreon, and I really like this. Some Patreons don't appeal to me. I'm a member of a few.
Okay.
But they have to be like very specific ones, and I have to feel like I'm part of something, and that there's stuff on there to warrant me going to it.
Right.
And there's videos, and there's the chats, and there's the blog posts that you've been doing. But because I can't always visit the shop, I like still being a part of it. So it's hello, good evening yourself. I love being able to be a part of it that way. So even when it may be a few months before I can between visits, I still want to be a part of this community that you've built up. Everyone loves it. I've seen a bunch of videos on YouTube that review it, Gebs and so on, and there's such a feeling of goodwill towards it, even though it is, like, for all intents and purposes, a museum in the main room. Yeah, there's the stuff you can buy as well, which is awesome. T-shirts like these, very good quality. They stand up to a lot of abuse because I wear these things all the time. Recommended. But being able to expand into something like that, it further strengthens that community, and I feel, and makes a shop feel bigger, if you know what I mean, than just the location it is. And how's the response been for you? Has it been a positive experience so far, would you say?
Oh, totally positive. I mean, I go into these things with, I don't want to say low expectations, but a very low bar. So if it is successful, it's like, yes, it feels good. But stuff like Patreon, I've done it before. I did it with the Straight to Video podcast, which was amazing. But with a podcast, I find it quite hard to, like, say, justify. I mean, people are giving, I mean, it's tough. Nothing's cheap these days.
Yeah.
Everything's getting more and more expensive. So to have people give like monthly donations for stuff, I feel responsible to give something back to them. So I did the one for the podcast, kind of came out of the gate firing, but then it just kind of dries up a little bit with a podcast. There's only so much you can do. A podcast takes a lot of your time just to do the single episodes. So to do other stuff as well, I did like bonus podcast episodes, and it just takes a lot of time. So I decided to knock that on its head just before Christmas. So which kind of worked out good when we decided to do the Patreon for the shop, which I think offers us a lot more opportunities to give, if you want to say, bonus footage or bonus content or whatever people call it these days. But it kind of coincided with a change in the shop where the shop downstairs closed, which we thought earlier this year we might have to shut the video shop. I think I mentioned it to you at one point. It was always going to continue in some way, but we thought, we might have to close this physical base which we've got, which would have been heartbreaking, really. But we managed to sort something with the lease, so we are still there. But it kind of thought, well, this is if we're going to make a jump and bring other people on board, this is the opportunity to do it. So Chris and I got this Patreon together, and just everybody's support and enthusiasm for it has just been wicked. But now the pressure's onto us to make it work and make it feel worthy for everybody to be a part of it. I know a lot of people say, oh, people on Patreon, they just want to support. But no, like you say, I think it's a good opportunity to bring a community of people together. The amount of people I've met and the people who've become friends with other people through this, I mean, it's so rewarding. So if we can grow on that with the Patreon, and I mean, it can become worldwide.
Yeah, absolutely. I what it reminds me of, the way you've got it set up and the way you interact with people on the Patreon, what it reminds me of is a fan club. You know, when you used to send a postal order and a stamped addressed envelope, you'll get your fan club pack. It reminds me of that, with like an ID card. So as they're rental cards at some point, aren't there on there?
Yeah, we did about a year ago. We did like a video membership pack, which is still available. You get like a sticker, a badge, a membership card. It all comes in a rental case, and a discount at the shop and all this kind of stuff. But I think just the Patreon, it's kind of a way of expanding on that to a broader audience in a way. So fingers
Gareth's
crossed.
got a good idea for it there. Can you do a mobile version of the shop so it can come to me, please?
That's an interesting point is actually made up there, because that was one thing which I probably shouldn't say, because someone will probably steal our idea on this one, but we thought about doing like a pop-up version of the shop which we could take around to conventions and things like that. But it would be a big undertaking. But whilst the shop is safe for the time being, we're just going to focus on that.
That's a good idea. Plus, of all people that doesn't need someone to come to his house with more tapes, it's Video Tasties. I mean, dude, come on.
Gareth's got to come and visit sometime. He's got to. Everybody go and check out what Gareth does on his YouTube channel, because that guy works harder than anybody on that.
He never stops. He never stops, and he's so pleasant. He's in the new book as well, and there are a couple of screenshots in there from our chats with Cynthia Rothrock and Frank Zagarino, which were just. I was only on the Cynthia Rothrock one for like 5 minutes, but I don't think I could have done any more than that, because I was just like, oh, great. And Frank Zagarino was lovely. Those are what great moments. So I see Gareth as very much part of this whole community as well. There's some great people out there creating really cool stuff that appeals directly to this very specific niche that we found ourselves in. But to be honest, if you think about it, it's not that niche, because so many people had this experience, and as soon as they see stuff like the shop, or hear some STV music, or listen to some of the STV podcasts where you're interviewing crazy guests, mate, I don't know how you do it with those guests. They're amazing. It unlocks a shared memory of, these good times. I love it.
Totally, mate. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Who's that? Oh, look at that. Gareth, get in, man. Get in. No, man. Yeah, I just love it. Like I say, everyone's got the same story, which I never get bored of. Everyone who comes in has the same story to share, and it's across the board. It really is. I love it.
Oh, you got some good stuff coming up at the shop as well. You've got some screenings. There's the evening stuff that you've been doing as well. And I understand there's a rather fun thing going on in October, which I'm absolutely chomping at the bit to get to. Tell us more.
Right, yeah. So last night we had a crow themed night, because last night was the 10th of June, which we figured out was exactly 30. I nearly said 40 years. That was Ghostbusters last week. Last night was 30 years to the day since the original Crow movie was released in the UK.
I love that film.
Yeah, so we had like a full ass last night. It was a lot of fun. So people hanging out. We had a quiz. We had some Crow cosplay. It was brilliant. There's a photo on our Facebook page which has just gone up, so which turned out great. So yeah, that was last night. What we got coming up this weekend, we're doing a screening of Kim's video. Have you seen Kim's video yet?
You sent me a link to it. I've not watched it yet. You sent me, I think it was the trailer you sent me a link to, but it looks amazing. It looks really, really good.
Yeah, it's a great documentary. So we're screening that this weekend. What else is coming up? On June the 22nd, we've got a pretty cool evening for YouTube fans. So Oliver Harper and Rob Hill of the Bad Movie Club are going to be visiting. Chris is a big fan of their YouTube review channels. I don't know if you're familiar with either of them.
I've heard of. Yeah, I am familiar with. I don't watch them much. I do admit that. I don't watch those a great deal.
They go like in depth on like a lot of retro movies and stuff. So they're going to be coming to the shop. We're going to have a screening, and they're doing a free meet and greet in the afternoon. Then there's a ticketed event in the evening. So I think there's going to be people from all over the UK who are going to travel to the event as well. So I'm excited to meet them, and for them to see the shop. I'll be interested.
It's so cool you've turned this storeroom, this storage space into something where you've got movie screenings and special guests and an escape room, and it's so cool.
But the event you spoke about, October the 5th, Trash. I nearly said Trash Stock. That was an event which I used to play at in Nottingham. Tape Stock Tape Stock 2 with TVC, the video club from Facebook, which is it's my favorite video page on Facebook.
It's a nice group that I'm a member of that, and it's a really pleasant one. There are some that aren't that nice.
So I did the first Tape Stock in was 2019. They had that Video Odyssey, Andy's place up in Liverpool. Friend Vin went up to that one, met a few people for the first time there, and obviously we had the big lockdown and stuff like that, so that put pay to any more events. So we've been on about doing one at the shop, and we've finally nailed down the date, October the 5th, Saturday. It's going to run from, I believe it's till 12 till late. So we're just going to have tape fans from all over the UK come in. We're going to have some tape trades. We're going to have screenings all day. I was going to actually hit you up and see if we could maybe borrow your trailer compilation and screen that.
Do it, man. No worries. I'll be there.
Cool.
I'll be there. So I'm happy to do that.
But we're putting requests in for what crappy films we can screen from VHS tapes, because we can actually do that as well.
You can. I love that in the screening that you actually hooked up a tape machine. That is the best.
So
lower that quality.
Fun event. I'm just really looking forward to seeing people. I think it's always cool to connect with people who you've met online, who you've become friends with, and to finally meet them in real life. I think it's great.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. It's always nice to put names to faces to names, and so on. But it's always nice to be around people that understand my love for this stuff, because my wife couldn't give a hoot. The kids
does she tolerate it, mate?
She tolerates it. She's tolerated it for a long time. She did tolerate the original library before I sold them all off after doing the first book. She tolerated a lot by, like, in the hallway of the flat we had in the city centre. It was from about 5 foot to the ceiling.
It's a health hazard.
Right along the hall, all ex-rentals. It was a thing of beauty, but she does put up with it a lot. She is awesome. Gareth recorded a video with Oliver last night. Lovely bloke, always
awesome.
A good review.
When's that going out, Gareth? Let us know, mate. Let us know.
Yeah, when's that going out, man? Let's just ask the people in the comments. Give us content, Gareth. Come on, get on with it.
There's our friend Adam
in
the comments as well. What's he put? Me, Lucy, and Andrea met you and Chris a few weeks after you opened. Oh, there you go. And they've been. They was an integral part of the film. Doing all the special effects. Yeah.
Awesome. Legends. Thank you for your work.
And
Adam's came out really well.
Adam's brought us so much treasure since we opened the shop.
Always fun.
That's the only reason I'm doing it. Getting some free shit.
Yeah. That is one thing I do miss about doing music magazines. Working for music magazines, I got so much free stuff. I'm like, this is really fun. And then I stopped, and all the free stuff stopped. So it's like, I kind of miss that now. That's the only reason we're in any of this. We don't care about the content. It's all about the free stuff.
I'll tell you something, it'd be a lot cheaper just to buy the stuff than actually open a video shop. I can tell you that.
I would imagine. So where can we find the 80s video shop? In physically and online?
In physically, it is in a little town called Alfreton, Derbyshire, or Ofton, a lot of people call it. But so Alfreton, Derbyshire, which is 10 minutes from junction 28 of the M1. If you're in the UK, usual opening times are Saturdays and Sundays till. But I always say, Chris is always busy. I'm busy. Everybody's busy. So I do a lot of conventions and gigs and things like that. So always check out the social media just to make sure we are going to be open if you're planning on traveling. But it's usually Saturdays and Sundays. And I always say, if people want to come outside of hours, I'm more than happy if I'm around to come and talk about crappy films at other times. So let us know. We don't want people to miss out. We want everybody who wants to come and visit the shop to come and visit it. So yeah, just drop us a line and we can get you there. But yeah, online at 80s Video Shop, across the board, Facebook, X, I'm going to use the proper term, Instagram, YouTube. I promise I will get onto. We have got an electric. Yeah, we've got the best of Electric Blue, Gareth. It features in the film, I believe.
Oh, is that one of the ones that is in the movie?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, is
dearie
it
me.
electric blue or it's like an Ibiza? I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it's an electric blue one. Those things are collectible.
You've got to get some brown paper bags then for when Gareth visits.
Yeah, find us at 80s Video Shop across the board, and I promise I'm going to figure out TikTok, because that might be the game changer. I think all these people with the video shops in the basements having
Yeah,
millions and millions of views.
there's so many of
Come and
those
see an
that get
actual one in
enormous
real life.
views, and they
Yeah.
look amazing as well.
Oh
But
man, some of them are unreal.
do you know one of the things I think that really makes yours and Chris's place is the bead curtain. It adds that little
That's the
edge.
cheapest thing. I want a better quality one. I need a better quality one.
It adds
Them
that
things are
little old school
expensive.
edge.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know. I love that. Every time I go through, it's like I'm back in 1989. This is brilliant. So that's fantastic. I'm so glad it is still going. Like you said, there was a time where it may have moved, or may have closed, but I'm glad it's still going. I'm really glad the Patreon is paying off, and all that. And I love the fact that there is such goodwill towards it. You know, there's
That's
all
one of
sort
the
of
most
fun stuff.
heartwarming things.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's really nice to see so many people being positive about it. I saw the video you shared, the most recent shop tour video, and people just love it. And because it's been made without an ounce of cynicism. It's not been done as a cash grab, because you wouldn't have done this if it was a cash grab.
There's a lot of smart things to do.
But it's been done with a lot of love. The screening room's great. The stuff in there is great. The attitude of yourself and Chris is just brilliant.
Thank you, mate.
Like the most approachable people possible, and I can't wait to get back there again. But for the time being, I shall be seeing you on Patreon and various socials, and
I'll show you this as well.
Podcast. Oh, yeah, I know. Is it like limited to 20? Isn't it?
Yeah,
on tape, slipcase as well. That's so good. Is it weird holding a VHS tape with yourself on it?
I know. Look at that. My hair's grown since then. Everybody.
I've got like 3 VHS tapes that have got me on the tape, and they're all from college, and it's not a great thing. So I'm very envious you've got something that's far better than farting about in a college AV studio. But yeah, I love it. Do you ever look through? I've always wondered. Do you ever find tapes that people have recorded off the TV? Because I'm absolutely fascinated by those.
We have had a few in the past. We got we get loads of donations, lots of crap a lot of the time, but there's always some gold in there. Some of the most random stuff all the time, but we do get occasionally like pre-record. Well, what's the actual term for them?
I don't know. I've seen people refer to them as pre-recorded. I just call them home recorded.
Yeah, because I know that's a big deal to a lot of people. But if you got the time, I had like an offer of a donation of like boxes and boxes of them a couple of months ago, and I was like, look, we haven't got the room for these, but I know people collect them, so I put a few posts out on social media, and I had like a lot of people respond saying, I'll take them. So they did go to a home eventually, but it's for people who've got a lot of time on their hands to actually go through these tapes and find all. It's not the film or the program that's recorded, like you say, it's all the bits in between.
Yeah, the adverts, the continuity in that. I follow a bunch
the
of channels
introductions and things like that.
Exactly, or there's news stories, or the original broadcasts of beloved shows and stuff like that. I follow a lot of channels like StewView, who does compilations of old adverts and continuity. Some of those are amazing. Do check those out. Yes, we have need that VHS. Understandable, buddy. Understandable. Well, my friend, thank you for joining me for this episode.
Oh man, thank you.
Hex. I wanted to have a chat because I've not been in the shop for a while, and I always feel terrible about that because I love the place dearly. I'm so pleased that it's thriving and that you're thriving and that the podcast is kicking ass. I don't know how you do it all. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for everyone watching live. I'm Andrew Horn. This is Planet Hex. Please do like and subscribe if you like VHS tapes and nerds talking about them endlessly and looking at them on eBay for hours and hours at a time. Thank you very much for joining us for this lovely stream, Rob. Thank you, mate. Really, really appreciate it.
Take it easy, mate. Great to see you, man.
Catch you all again soon, guys.
Thanks, everybody.